We're back here on KC 101, brought to you by FCCB, First Citizens Community Bank. It is Saturday with seniors. James Pautz, our guest here from Westfield, and we've been talking about some of his earlier memories. We talked a little bit earlier about baseball. When you were a kid, did all the towns have their own little teams? And
actually, it was a younger generation along with the older generation. Every town practically had a town team, you know. You entertained yourself. You didn't have the TV, of course, or computers or anything like that. So if you didn't entertain yourself, you didn't get entertained. But the big thing, I think, was the radio. You know, it was really something to have a radio and listen to the programs, Tom Mix, and those programs that was 15 minutes for the younger kids and so on and so forth.
Before TV, a lot of the programs were Lone Ranger and all those were on the. And where were you listening to radio from? Were you listening to KDK from Pittsburgh or hearing Philadelphia, KYW News or
WNY in Elmira?
That's where you were tuned into and getting your information on the AM.
It was about actually the only station that you could pick up in the daytime. At night, you would pick up KDKA out of Pittsburgh and some of the more powerful stations, you know, WWVA out of West Virginia.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the call letters, but there was a radio station in Chicago. They always had the Old Dominion Barn Dance on it, which was a country and western show.
WGN or WSM? Well, WSM was national. WGN was the one in Chicago, but may have been the one you're listening to. World's Greatest News is what it stood for.
But the radio stations was mostly a daytime operation from sunrise to sunset. And when they went off, then the more powerful stations would come in.
The nighttime skywaves would come in and you could get your information that way.
Yeah.
Did you go to the movie theater when you were a kid much? Or
not really that much. The closest ones that we had was like in Elmira, and it was a process of if you got there, maybe you'd get somebody to take you there and you walked home or you rode your bicycle home. We were big fans of the World Wrestling Association, and they always would have at like Dunn Field in Elmira. And of course they fielded the ball team in the Eastern League, and you was interested in that. Elmira, you had 2 daily papers. You have Elmira Advertiser come out in the morning and the Star Gazette in the evening paper. And you always was studying the ball scores, come in the mail. You get it the next day after it was printed.
There was quite a few famous ball players that came from our area, too, that made it to the major leagues from this area.
Don Zimmer, one of the later managers and stuff, was married at home base in Dunn Field. And, of course, he was from Hornell, New York.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of ball players that went through Elmira. I can remember my dad telling about going down to Dunn Field and watch Babe Ruth and stuff, you know, on his barnstorming tours that he made. And so it was always something you look forward to.
And when did you move to Westfield? The tannery was still up and going, I assume, when you had moved to Westfield?
Yes, indeed. I went to work for Tri-County Rural Electric in 1964. They had an ice storm, and they was looking for farm help to clear right-of-ways. And there was nobody east of the Tioga River through Bradford County that had electric. It was a terrible, terrible storm around the 13th or 14th of March. And I just stayed on with them over the years, and gradually you worked your way up through. And I guess I made apprentice lineman, and we got a new manager in Mansfield, and they were getting ready to open a district office in Westfield because they wanted you closer. The dam projects were swinging into motion, and they wanted the crews there so that they didn't travel so far. He never liked windshield time, so.
Yep. So quite a few years then with Tri-County.
Well, 33 exactly, and took an early retirement then and got away from it and did electrical inspections for the actual electrical code for about 10 years and finally gave it up and said that was enough. You know?
So now what do you do with your free time?
Wife and I have it's a small truck garden. We raise a lot of vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. We have a wagon out with produce and stuff onto it in the summertime.
Your wife is here. She's very quiet, but how many years have you guys been together? Tell me your story.
Well, we were married in 1959, so figure it out how many years back it was.
Making me do the math, huh? Yeah. 41. So you married 63 years, give or take.
Yeah, exactly.
And where'd you two meet?
Well, I was good friends with her brother in high school and through family connections and stuff, so that was the way we met.
And you guys used to go to square dances together and all that type of stuff?
Exactly. We were great square dancers. Actually, we were in a Grange square dance contest in the state of Pennsylvania. So once you got to driving, you could find a square dance about every Saturday night somewhere, some town, if you wanted to travel with them.
And how did people learn to square dance then? Did they learn at the dance? Did they teach you in school? Right now, none of our younger generation knows how to square dance hardly, unfortunately.
Well, we used to go to Whitneyville out here, and they still do the square dance out there. But you never had to learn how to square dance. If you got up and somebody would guide you around, if you made a wrong move,
they'd push you the right direction.
Exactly right.
Well, great. Any closing thoughts that you want to share?
Thanks for having me, because it's kind of interesting. You think back over the years, I guess the older you get, you reminisce about it. It's like we were talking about World War II, and what's going on now. And there was a lot of cycle. Hopefully it don't end the same way the first one did.
It's a scary time right now in this world, and we need to read our history, know our history, so we don't repeat what we don't want to repeat. So, James Pautz joining us from Westfield. Thank you so much for your time.
You're personally welcome.
This has been Saturday with Seniors, brought to you by FCCB, First Citizens Community Bank. Building better communities for over 150 years, member FDIC. We want to thank the local offices in Wellsboro, Mansfield, and Blossburg for being proud sponsors of today's program, Saturday with Seniors, here on KC101. If you missed any of today's program or would like to hear any of our previous programs, you can find them all on our YouTube channel, which you can easily access through our website, KC101FM.com.